A very good morning, good afternoon, or good evening to you wherever you are as we welcome you to the very first Mobile Growth Awards. My name is Andy White, and as Branch's Head of Sales for EMEA, I will be your MC for today's celebration. Now, hopefully, if you're watching, you're already familiar with Branch and our mobile growth community. But for those of you who are joining us for the first time, we are so very glad to have you. Now, Branch is the leading cross-platform solution for linking and measurement. And we started the mobile growth community back in 2014 to engage with mobile innovators from around the world. Our meetups take place across the globe from 26 cities in 19 countries and have now transitioned to be fully online. Last year, the Mobile Growth Awards program was launched to recognize mobile experts who are leading exceptional growth and innovation in mobile. For our first edition, we received over 300 nominations from brands from across the world, from a variety of industries spanning e-commerce, streaming, and gaming, just to name a few. But enough about us. This day would not have been possible without our amazing judges who helped review the numerous applications submitted for our 8 award categories. Let's give a round of applause to our judges. Okay, to get us started, let's run through a quick preview of today's celebration, which is quite the international event, attracting over 500 guests from countries across Europe, Middle East, Africa, and the Asia Pacific regions. We are live here on Zoom and on LinkedIn and Facebook too. We'll kick things off with a fireside chat with Pomelo Fashion, followed by a first round of awards. And from there, we'll jump into a panel with leading experts from Airtel, bNext, and Trell. And then we'll wrap up our awards with the final 4 categories, followed by a special interview with 2 of our winners to share their experiences in 2020. We are so honored to have all of our presenters join us live and share their expertise and experience in driving successful mobile strategies. Now, before we get started, I'd like to go for a few housekeeping items that will help ensure you get the most out of your time with us. The audience is on mute, so if you have any questions or simply want to connect with folks, then please use the chat. And a friendly reminder that this celebration is being recorded and will be shared afterwards. Okay, now without further ado, let's get this celebration going. I would like to introduce Govind Kavaturi, Director of Business Development at Branch, and Jean Thomas, CMO at Pomelo Fashion, to the stage for their fireside chat. Welcome, Govind. Welcome, Jean.
Hi.
Thank you, Andy, for a great start. Hello, everyone. Super glad to be doing this today, and look forward to all the nominees and winners today. All the best, everyone. So, as Andy introduced, I'm Govind, and I'm based in Singapore. I head the region over here for Southeast Asia and Australia. And we have Jean Thomas today with us. Jean is based in Thailand. Before I ask Jean to talk more about himself, let me give the introduction. So Jean is the Chief Marketing Officer at Pomelo, a leading omnichannel fashion platform in Asia. I'm sure especially those of you in Southeast Asia would know Pomelo very well. Prior to joining Pomelo, he previously served as the Chief Marketing Officer at Alibaba-backed Lazada. I'm sure everyone knows about it, where he was spearheading all the marketing initiatives in Singapore across Lazada and Redmart. Jean has a vast range of experience in marketing and e-commerce across Asia Pacific regions, having previously worked at companies like Wego and Ogilvy. Jean and I go a long way back. Jean, thanks for joining. I look forward to having a nice and wonderful chat again after a long time.
Yeah, no, exciting. It's true, been a long time. I think we know each other for about 3, 4 years, almost, I think.
Yes,
Around that time,
yes.
yeah.
I remember we did one similar panel. That's the first time we met.
That's true.
Great. So I will use this opportunity to have a chat with you. I think good to catch up. I think this is a great opportunity for us to do it again. Let's take a look back into 2020. 2020 is, I'm sure everyone agrees with me, that is the most eventful year that we have seen in a long time. COVID has had an impact on all industries, especially the retail industry. However, we saw some really successful collaborations and campaigns from Pomelo last year. I myself have seen so many campaigns going out and so many technologies raving about how successful Pomelo has been during the year. Tell us a little more on how you and your team adapted your strategies. And secondly, what are the learnings from 2020 that you're now looking forward to addressing in 2021?
Yeah, so I mean, so Pomelo is focusing on the region of Southeast Asia, despite we, can ship globally and so forth. But the core focus is really Southeast Asia. Obviously, the region being very different, from a business standpoint and others, and from a COVID standpoint, it was quite different. Some country went into multiple lockdown, like Malaysia. So some country were kind of like fortunate, but was in some kind of lockdown, like Singapore. Indonesia decided to not do much and was quite open despite, having their tough situation. And then Thailand was fortunate to have, more than 6 months of the year with no cases in 2020. But all of it as a common factor was when it all hit back in March, right, where pretty much all the country decided to, do lockdown or take restrictions. I think for us, obviously on the retail side was quite shocking because most of our stores at that time were in Thailand, with one in Singapore. So all the retail was shut down. So basically you lose the entire revenue in one go. The advantage it had at that time was, the e-com picked up quite well. So, and the reason why it picked up quite well is not just because people cannot shop offline, is also because most of the brands that you're competing with do not have a strong online presence. So actually, it's not like if I want to shop this brand, I can go online. You just can't for some of it, or they were not, ready for it. So for that, we greatly benefited from the crisis on the e-commerce side at the time. Actually, the strongest growth we ever had was definitely during that time. So we actually went pretty aggressive in terms of like investing. The marketing budget was the highest at the time. We did offer a lot of discounting at the time on our products, because again, right, like for you to have an incentive to buy fashion, considering you're not leaving your house, you need to have a little bit of financial incentive. So we're quite aggressive on that. And then lastly, we really wanted to make sure we do not end up with excess inventory, which is one of the main reasons why most fashion companies that died in the past few years was mostly because they had too much inventory, they couldn't get rid of it, and it's basically just money that you're just burning. So yeah, we obviously new customer growth was amazing. The sales were pretty good considering the situation. We were able to recover most of the revenue lost from retail as well at the same time, so that's good. The good thing is a lot of people that shop only offline started to try online, so that's a positive, particularly when you are Pomelo in an omni-channel context where you want people to shop across all channels. And after what I'm looking forward in 2021, I mean, evidently I'm looking forward a better year for everyone, not just specifically Pomelo. And the second part is like some of the learning is like most people that work in startup did not experience crisis, particularly because of their age in general. So I think in some ways it's good for most people to experience what is hardship in terms of business and have being quite adjustable to it. Even now, like in Thailand decided to lock down a little bit because of some cases that just happened to happen again. Like you can feel most people are a lot more comfortable with it. You know how to work from home, you know how to like hold meetings with your teams, making sure everyone is working efficiently. you know, what to invest, when not to invest, you know, some of the, you know, I suppose highlight and lowlights from the last time we had a similar situation. So it's okay. And then the last thing is like, we continue to aggressively open retail. So we started to open more in Indonesia. We're opening first time in Malaysia very soon. We just opened today actually our second store in our new store, sorry, in Singapore actually. So you know, most people are actually closing down right now, and I think our model in retail is a bit more cost efficient, and we're also looking at like investing where most people are scared in order to come out of the crisis on top. And then we're leveraging our online channel to do that. So that's kind of like rough picture of 2020 and I suppose January.
That's great. Thank you, Jean. I must say that you have amazing interiors in your store. Good to see an online brand moving into an offline. I have another question for that, which I'll pocket for
Sure.
then. So in terms of, we were talking about 2021, and of course, online shopping saw a massive spike worldwide, and also especially in regions like we are in Southeast Asia. But with regulations easing now, with some countries, especially where the lockdowns are more severe, how are you leveraging mobile specifically to make shopping more of an omni-channel experience for your customers?
Yeah, I mean, so Pomelo today is about, I would say, transaction-wise, close to 80% on app. You know, iOS and Android. iOS being a little bit higher, actually, surprisingly, compared to Android in this region, which is a bit unlikely compared to other e-commerce players. Then, you know, I would say a lot of people come and browse on desktop, for example, for fashion, but they kind of like the convenience to complete their transaction on mobile for all the obvious reasons, like, you know, tracking your order, you know, dealing with customer service, like everything people just do on their phone most of these days. And then after, what we really try to do is to integrate that, you know, mobile experience into our store. So, you know, a lot of the projects that we worked on or are currently working on is really around, like, for example, you go to a store and then you buy stuff online, you try offline, you don't have your size, you know, how can you get your, you know, size delivered, assuming that we have it in stocks online? You can deliver within a timely time frame, whether it's same day or next day. You know, the same way, it's like we're using our mobile app in order to manage all the queuing system. So you could be at the, you know, you could be walking to the Pomelo stores, you could already pre-book your fitting room. So when you arrive to the Pomelo stores, you know, all your clothes are, you know, ready there for you, and you just have to go and try on your clothes. Particularly convenient when, you know, on weekends or doing big sales where, you know, the volume of orders is extremely high. You know, so we always, same thing to do like store location. We're trying to do, you know, obviously for push when people are next to the store to kind of like tell them about some of the promotion we currently have. You know, so we're always trying to really think like that people are always have their mobile, particularly in this part of the world. And we're always trying to build features that will basically are not gimmicks, but are more like added value to the customer experience, whether it's from a service standpoint or a product information standpoint, or, you know, a marketing and promotion standpoint. So I think that's kind of like the overarching idea. And obviously, like, there's a lot more room for improvements, and we are looking at that. But I think we got to a pretty decent level, and we're going to continue on. I would say the last project we've done like this was we're finalizing a full omnichannel loyalty program to have it as a full omnichannel experience offline as well, in order to, like, you know, yeah, to just bring a better experience to the customer. You know, like, nobody want to have a card, nobody want to have any of that. Everyone want to have, what is the summary of my loyalty, how much money I earn with it. You know, like, I want to be able to spend offline, online, and so forth. So that's kind of like being the latest project, per se.
That's great. I think that also fits in very well for my next question. Pomelo, as far as I know, uses amazing tech on all the platforms to create amazing personalization for the users. So how do you approach personalization and contextualize messaging to users across various channels and properties? You have platforms like desktop, mobile web, mobile app, and offline properties. what kind of an experience do you aspire to deliver to your users who are interacting with your brand?
Yeah, I know the aspect, right? It's all maybe a bit more unique to Pomelo, I suppose. So anything on app, we use AWS or the personalization systems.
Jean,
And
your audio, I think, has some issue, maybe.
can you hear me now?
No, not really.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, perfect.
Okay. So I was saying like, a few aspects and some of it a bit linked to Pomelo business. The first one, for anything product, personalization on apps and so forth, we're using AWS and the Amazon personalization. And obviously everyone can agree that, Amazon itself, platform is amazing when it comes to personalization. So we're using that. Obviously we're using a range of tool from, Braze for email and push notification and so forth to, really personalize. But I think, and then, and the last part is really like retail stores, because, most retail stores are actually very poorly personalized. It's all based on like, visual merchandising team, stores putting, item into the stores. The logic is not very optimized. And what we do as Pomelo is that we're using all our online data, and we're trying to use also location data. So for example, near this mall, or people likely to go to this mall, and we're trying to look at like what's the likelihood they have to buy certain products, and we try to put that into the stores. So even the stores feel somewhat personalized, and from one store to another, the inventory is slightly different. Of course, there is some key focus, but we're trying to personalize it as much as possible so it fit, you somewhat when you go there. And which is linked to the factor, which is our stores have smaller size, so we need to optimize it a bit more. So, I think what I want to talk about is like, of course, we can use a lot of technology when it comes to personalization, but I think people sometimes directly jump into that as opposed to also thinking of like, what are you trying to achieve? Like, what kind of segments you want to have? Some people want to focus on lapsing customers. First you need to establish what is the business rules you want to actually have, and then how you use technology to improve that. So, lapsing customer is very broad. You need to understand like, is it 1 month lapsing, 2 months lapsing, 6 months lapsing? Within this segment, do you have like multi-segments? And then once you have all the business rules in place, then you can apply technology to kind of like do all the learning and fully optimize. The second part is around marketing spend, right? If you give voucher or discounts to the customers, ultimately it's very poorly optimized. What you want to have is like, your marketing spend, where people maybe have, I don't know, like smaller budget, you want to help them out, for them to afford. People with maybe like more like regular spenders, you don't want to give them voucher, but you might want to push them more on loyalty. Like I think you want to ultimately, reward everyone, but like give them rewards in what they care about. Some people, they care about service. So you want to ensure to always give the best like customer experience in terms of service to these specific segments. You want to make sure there was a fitting room available. So you really have to think like, how do you categorize your segments, and because each person is a little bit different. So I think that's what really we've been trying to do, and then we plug all the BI, data science, and personalization tools on top of it. But that is only probably a 20%, I would say, like uplift, 20% uplift, like in the long run, right? Like the big part come really from the logic and the thinking. If you have very bad logic, your personalization is going to be horrible.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like where we came from. Yeah.
That's great. Yeah, definitely a right balance between logistics and the experience for sure. I know you're very well experienced at it working at Red Mart and Lazada, knowing that logistic part. Jean, I know that we have very few minutes left, but I have one last question, which is extremely interesting for me to know, and I'm sure the audience as well. The digital sector is growing. Everyone is investing into the digital sector for many reasons. But Pomelo also took a turn and thought that you also need to cater to people in stores, in-person stores. So what is your broad thinking, and is it related to the trend, or are you expecting the world to change their behavior in any way in terms of the user behavior? Or is that your vision?
I mean, I think again, right? I think in Pomelo, a lot of things we do, we're trying to do it with good logic and some data applied to it, right? So I think the thinking is, if you do e-commerce fashion and you're not really solving the problem of trying on clothes, you're actually not really doing anything. You're just doing the same thing as other people. It's not really driving extremely large value. You're just selling a bunch of clothes to some people and deliver to their house, and you can maybe you can assume that's convenient, but ultimately it's not, because the fashion industry has very high return. Because the thing is, like, each brand has their own fit. Each person has different body types. It's just a very broken model. So I think the first part was we open retail to solve that. We open retail and stores, and also other locations which are not stores, for people to like buy online, get delivered, try all their clothes at their convenience, and only pay for what they love, right? Or what fit them well. So I think for us was like, okay, let's just solve that problem, in the best way we can. And we're looking even at doing it now in people home on that level. The second thing is that, of course, your stores are also great for sales. They make money, right? And actually, it's a lot more profitable model, like short term, the stores, because you just have to recover the capex, and then after it's pretty much a profitable entity. And then the last part was, well, the stores are a great branding, aspect, where we always think in Pomelo of like our stores is like billboard, except they just make money. Like there is an effect of like when you see a big offline store in a premium mall, you feel more likely to buy this brand because it's like a real thing. Like you're like, oh, it must be like very cool. They have the money to do that. So lastly on this, it's like every time we open a store in a location, we actually saw a surge in online orders, because people suddenly feel, oh, I'm going to buy, I can try offline, very easily. And then these brands seem cool because, I went to check it out. And then the very last thing is that we're trying to make our stores a bit more modern, as you said, a bit more like digital, enabled. We're trying to make it also a bit more like a billboard. We have a lot of screens outside with big entrance with like videos playing. Now in some of the mall, you can really see a Pomelo store from like, 150 meters away, very, very clearly. So I think the combination of these three factors, like, I think it's what I feel is like what will make successful at least the retailer of tomorrow, or the online platforms of tomorrow. Yeah.
Thank you so much, John. It was a wonderful chat after a long time. It was a pleasure. Thank you so much for joining. I hope we get to meet again soon. With that, I'll let Andy take the evening forward. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Govind. Thank you, Jean. That was really, really interesting. I think the main thing that really shone out for me in that session, which I think was just really, really super insightful anytime, but in these times is even more insightful, is just how well Pomelo are focused on combining, their online customers and their offline customers, and how those two worlds, even in this crazy world we're in today with COVID and all that stuff going on, that they're still got that big overarching strategy and seeing so much good from combining those two things together. And I think one of the things I was thinking as I was hearing about all these omni-channel loyalty schemes and personalization, I was thinking, what, that's not easy to do. It's especially for an established business. But it was great to hear about some of our great partners that I know that Pomelo use in collaboration with Branch, like Braze and like Segment, and a great tech stack there. So it's really nice to see that, and good job, and thank you, John, for sharing that with us. Okay. Now, I'm happy to announce our first group of award winners. Now, this past year has, of course, presented many new and unforeseen challenges in the mobile space. While it's clear how digital the world has become, creating seamless customer experiences that drive user growth is no easy feat, especially as we look to maximize the cash money we bring to our businesses. Here are the first set of awards. Best Digital Experience, Best Digital Transformation, Best Mobile Innovation, Best Onboard Activation. Okay, so our first award is for Best Digital Experience, which recognizes campaigns that have transformed traditional offline marketing tactics and blended them with the best digital activities to improve the customer journey. physical, digital, digital, like, you get it? Like, I think we just invented a buzzword. Did we do that? You can say you were here when Branch and the Mobile Growth Awards invented a buzzword. Okay, let's see who the finalists are. Oh, what an excellent group of finalists who are really bridging the gap between the physical brick and mortar experience with mobile. Look at Belk, a US retailer using QR codes on their in-store signage and driving 12% of their total organic app installs. Wine.com is also leveraging QR codes on physical mailers, which is resulting in the highest click-to-open rate out of all of their channels. Equinox Media launched their mobile app Varus to help members work out nearly 20% more per month. Cadillac Fairview, one of the largest owner, operators and developers of office and retail space in North America, leveraged in-property QR codes to drive installs of their newly launched app, Live by CF. Joe and the Juice uses QR codes on all of their physical real estate to convert foot traffic into one of the best organic channels for app user acquisition. And lastly, Affle and their Proton campaign, a special collaboration in Malaysia where customers can book test car rides during lockdown and communicate with the brand through Olive, the chatbot. I've always wanted to say this. And the winner is... Congratulations, Peter Boyce and the Wine.com team. As I mentioned before, Wine.com leveraged QR codes on their packaging inserts to promote the app. These codes were paired with an in-app exclusive offer, which further incentivized users to convert to the app. They saw a 7% click-to-purchase rate within just 30 days, which is astounding when you actually stop to consider that these were resales. These codes were included in the mailer of their order package for purchases that had already been made. So they're reconverting existing customers to the app. It's incredible. What a great way to ensure that you get repeat customers. Now, dear audience, in this remote world in which we are currently within, we felt that if hype sounds, I do not know which one it's going to play until I've played it. So here we go. Here's the first one. This is for Brita. Okay. That's not so bad. Once again, thank you and well done to Brita and her team. Okay, now to present the Best Digital Transformation Award, which celebrates business innovation through digital transformation that resulted in increased engagement, user acquisition, or revenue. And the finalists are... Great to see how companies from a variety of industries, fintech, fashion, sports, are transforming their digital strategies to adapt to their customers and industry's needs. Favi is enabling millions of Singaporeans to enjoy cashback at thousands of restaurants and retailers using FaviPay. Goldman Sachs launched their Marcus app to create a digital storefront for their customers. OVO from Indonesia partnered with the government to support the digital banking needs for those underserved or unbanked. ExxonMobil integrated with Waze app to support contactless payments directly from Waze to the Exxon app. L'Oréal France created a new digital experience for hairdressers and salons through their Style My Hair app. And the National Hockey League released in-game virtual signage technology to help offset lost game day revenue during the lockdowns. Such a tough decision the judges had to make, but there can only be one winner, and that winner is... Congratulations, Arshad and the OVO team. So to prevent churn during the pandemic, OVO wanted to provide flexible payment and investment options to customers. They also wanted to bring digital transformation and accessibility to previously unbanked or underbanked individuals. So they worked with the government as the official e-money partner for Prakerja, a state stimulus program that offered benefits for job seekers that were impacted by COVID. OVO enabled beneficiaries to seamlessly activate an e-wallet, pay bills, and receive the stimulus benefits without any physical interaction. Congratulations again to Arshad and the team. Right, like I said, I don't know what's coming, so it's going to be fun. Our next category is for Best Mobile Innovation, recognizing creative thinking and outstanding innovation in mobile. Let's see who the finalists are. Lenskart, the leading eyewear retailer in India, continued to support customer needs during lockdown using AI and augmented reality. Orange Yoxo, the Romanian branch of Orange Telecommunications, created the first 100% digital mobile subscription via their app in Romania. Lock and Stock, the largest education marketplace in the Middle East and North Africa, created AI and machine learning solutions to ensure top-notch educational experiences. Reliance Jio provided customers with more choices, secure payment methods, and contactless transactions through their apps MyJio and JioMe. Tiger Brokers, a traditional online brokerage platform, incorporated branches cross-platform attribution to better understand customer journey and bridge the gap between desktop and mobile. And lastly, Bobble AI, the world's first conversation media platform, partnering with ITC's Sunfeast, Yippee, one of the most popular instant noodle brands in India, for their unique Where the Mood Is campaign. And the winner is... Congratulations, Ratnesh and the Lenskart team. Now, during a pandemic, it's quite hard to provide an excellent eyewear shopping experience if you can't try on or properly fit your glasses. Lenskart developed a unique and high-tech implementation to create an easy user experience that utilized selfie photo to provide a recommendation list of frames that will fit the customer's dimensions. They also utilized phone cameras to integrate pop-up 3D glasses to give the user a real-life representation of trying frames on. Now, you probably can't tell, but I'm using their technology right now with these special limited edition branch glasses. What an incredible experience. That is super, super cool. And congratulations once again to Ratnesh and the Lenskart team. Wait for it. Okay. Thank you, Hype Button. You are a valued member of this presentation. Our last award for this group is for the best onboarding activation, which is given for a campaign that showcases creativity and success in driving acquisition and engaging new users. Let's see who the finalists are. Ritual, a well-known social ordering app in North America, helped restaurants onboard new users by providing countertop tablets so they can input their mobile number and receive a bonus coupon that's redeemable once they download the app. bnext, a leading Spanish neobank who leverage deep links in all channels to ensure users are seamlessly routed to the appropriate section within the app. Hibbett City Gear, a leading athletic-inspired fashion retailer in North America, leveraged hot sneaker releases within app exclusives raffles to promote their app. Drizzly, your online liquor store, leveraged deep links to auto-log in new app users. CSC ServiceWorks launched a referrals program to incentivize the use of its services and digital payment app, CSC Pay. Shopify, who created frictionless end-to-end onboarding at every step for new shop app users. And Onelism, an English learning app, reduced the friction in sign-up and onboarding by making the process a game. And the winner is... Congratulations, John and the Hibbett Gear team. When Hibbett decided to take the leap into the mobile space, they knew they needed an enticing platform and smooth activation flow to be successful. Hibbett offered exclusive raffle entries to key sneaker releases where users had to download the app and create an account to enter. They provided calls to action at appropriate places in the user journey across web, social, SMS, push, and email to capture their users' attention. Incredible ingenuity. Way to go, the Hibbett City team. We got a hype button for this. Let's give a round of applause for our first batch of awards winners. Okay. Thank you. Next up, we have an amazing panel followed by our last batch of award winners. And finally, closing with a special interview with two of the winners. First, our panel discussion. Now, this past year has forced marketers and product innovators to rethink their strategies and adapt to meet customers' needs. To discuss different trends seen in the market across EMEA and APAC regions, as well as their key initiative for 2021, please join me in welcoming Varun Das, VP of Product at Airtel, Sahil Deswal, VP of Marketing, Growth, and Monetization at Travel. The guy's got 3 jobs and he's giving up his time to talk to us today. Thank you very much, Sahil. And Alfonso Sanz de Baranda, who only has 1 job, but it is a big job. It's Chief Growth Officer at the very, very awesome bnext. It's going to be moderated by the legendary Pooja Bayani, who is one of our senior customer success managers at Branch. And I could not be more excited to introduce you to her now. Hey, Pooja.
Hey, Andy, how are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing all right. Hype button and all.
Great. Thank you so much for the introduction, and good afternoon, good morning, and good evening to everyone that's joining us today. So we have a fantastic panel session lined up for you guys today. We're going to be discussing how mobile will evolve in 2021. So obviously last year, the whole world felt the impact of the pandemic, and we saw a lot of changes in the way that companies engaged with their customers. We also saw a shift in consumer behavior. There was a rise in demand for grocery shopping, particularly toilet roll. We also saw changes in the way that we all kept in touch with each other, the way that we handled our finances, and how we interacted with social media platforms on our phones. So with that being said, I know you've already introduced our panelists, but I'd love to hear from each of them. If you guys could all just introduce yourselves and tell us a little bit about your app. Sahil, do you want to go first?
Sure. Thank you so much, Andy, for that wonderful introduction. You're absolutely right. On one side, I spend the money in the company, and on the other side, I have to make money for the company. So that's how marketing, growth, and monetization sort of works out for me. Everybody, hello. Thank you so much for having me here. My name is Sahil Deswal. Trell is India's largest lifestyle social commerce platform. While we have video, vertical video format on one side of the business, we also drive commerce. And about 60% of our audiences today are women on the platform. So it's an exciting journey that we've sort of seen in the last 12 months since the lockdown and the pandemic happened. We've grown almost 27x. We became bigger than Pinterest and Twitter back in July 2020. So needless to say, I think we're having the problem of scaling up too fast, too quick. So our hands are full, but we'd be happy to sort of share some experiences from that journey. So thanks so much again to the entire team for having me here.
Thanks, Sahil. That's always a good problem to have, right? Scaling up too quickly. Varun, I'd love to hear from you next.
Hello, everyone. So, I thought you said VNext. Sorry about that.
No worries. Hey, Andy. Hey, Pooja. Thank you for having me on here. It's a privilege to be on the Mobile Growth Awards, and congratulations to all the winners. My name is Varun Das. I am the product VP for Airtel's consumer business. Airtel is a telco in India. We serve over 300 million customers in about 2,500 large enterprises, and our core business is connectivity. In the last 2 years, we've been on this mission to digitize and provide more access to people online. And I think it's been a very, very interesting journey. So that's me.
Great, thank you. Go ahead, Alfonso.
Hello, everyone. So my name is Alfonso Sainz de Baranda. I'm the Chief Growth Officer of VNext. And as Sahil said, well, my team also leads all the marketing efforts and also the monetization efforts. So I think that basically we have more or less the same goal. VNext is as you said, the leading neobank in Spain. We are also currently in Mexico, where we are, I think, in the top 3 right now. Although hopefully this year we will grow to be the top neobank in Mexico too. Basically, what we offer is a debit card for all of our users that gives them access not only to a way of payment that they can use anywhere in the world without fees, but also to a marketplace of financial products that competes directly with many of the banks around the world. So we have from crypto to investment funds to insurance to money exchange, whatever you think a bank might have, we have it in our marketplace, right? So we offer a 360 banking experience, but instead of doing it with our own products, what we've created is this API technology that allows any provider to connect to us. And that has allowed us to give access to many fintech companies that didn't have access to customers before due to high customer acquisition cost. And with us, they are able to access them way cheaper and in a much more convenient way, because all the KYC is done from us.
Wow, that's amazing. And thank you so much all for sharing a little bit about what you do. So if we can take a look back at what your mobile strategies were like this time last year, and I'd love to hear from you guys about one campaign or initiative that you're excited to launch in 2020 that was put on hold or paused due to COVID, and just some learnings about that campaign. So Alfonso, I'd love to hear from you and what the VNext team did in 2020, sorry.
Well, something that we didn't do, I mean, certainly among our user personas, one of the biggest ones was travelers. So actually from January to March, we had been preparing this huge campaign for the summer, for traveling. And obviously that, didn't pan out due to COVID-19 and all its consequences. Now it was, we were actually preparing, a very big thing with influencers, with a different product that we were launching, which was a premium product of our own service that allowed travelers to feel safe anywhere in the world, wherever they were at any point, which was really, really cool. But in the end, we decided to launch that in 2021. And regarding things that we did, that we are going to do this year, I mean, this is still not open, obviously, because traveling is still not open. But for this year, we're intending to launch a whole new product and service based on, well, I cannot say that much yet because it's there's a lot of compliance issues around this. But basically, we are going to do a game-changing thing in the remittance market very soon.
Great, thank you. And I know last week when we spoke, Varun, you were telling me about the Superheroes program that Airtel were already kind of had on the roadmap, but then got paused due to, actually you had it on the roadmap. It wasn't really planned to launch as quickly as you did. And then with COVID happening, it just kind of accelerated that transformation. I'd love if you could just share a little bit more about exactly what that Superheroes program was and how that changed the way that you engaged with your customers.
That's right, Pooja. Thanks for bringing up Superheroes. I think it's probably one of our most exciting programs that we launched, and I think COVID accelerated it. And just to give context, Airtel's business is a very business that covers mobility, broadband, and direct-to-home television. In the mobility space, a lot of our business is transacted online, where our customers recharge or top up their mobile phones online. A lot of that business also happens offline, where you can walk up to your local store, corner store, and like buy a top-up card and recharge your service. And I think, like I said, one of the big parts of our digital transformation as a telco is focusing on how to empower our customers, get them connected online, so it's easier for them to access the services. And I think as we were planning this in March, we went into lockdown for a good 4 to 5 months. And I think it was a program that allowed individuals to recharge or top up for their friends online. So I could, for example, buy a top up for you using my app, and therefore ensure that you were connected in the lockdown, right? And so I think for us, the focus was ensuring that customers are connected to their loved ones at a time when it is important to talk. You couldn't go out. We wanted to make sure it was convenient for our customers to do so through a medium as simple as our app. And I think the Superhero program, if you look at the impact of it prior to the lockdown, a lot of our top-up revenue, about 40%, came from offline recharges, walking into a store and buying a top-up. After the Superhero program, and I think leading into where we are now, we are predominantly an online business now, right? Like we hit a point where we're north of 65% top-ups were happening online. It was either people doing it on the app, or it was individuals through the Superhero program who were recharging their friends, people in their communities. And I think that was one of the impacts that COVID had, was accelerate a strategy that we already had in place and really impacted the growth of our business through 2020. And I think more importantly, it ensured people were empowered and connected.
Definitely. I think that's an incredible shift from offline to online. And like you said last week, it really took a lot of, trust from your consumers, and making sure that it was simple enough for your consumers to be able to engage in that way to make that shift from offline to online, right? Sahil, I'd love to hear some more about Trell. I know you said obviously it really grew where there was a void for apps like TikTok in India. So if you could tell us a little bit about, how you had that surge in growth, and how, too much scalability almost is, a lot to deal with nowadays. I'd love to hear from you.
Sure. I mean, just before I sort of get on to the lockdown story, just like Varun mentioned about the Superheroes program, I think we also saw similar opportunities actually while the COVID lockdown happened. So difficult time for the world at large, but not too much to complain from a business perspective. And one of the themes that we very consciously rode on at that point in time was cricket, because in India, the following for cricket is extremely huge. And we wanted to bring a compelling experience right at the mobile device of the customer. So we launched a campaign in partnership with Chennai Super Kings, which is an IPL team in India, and IPL is a big deal. And the idea was that here is a chance for users to be safe at their home, but at the same time be able to cheer for their heroes. And what we did was we created an anthem. We tied up with Benny Dayal for that anthem. And at the same time, we said, we're going to have a hook step that you can do sitting at home, create a video, and through these videos, cheer your team to victory. And what we saw was, it completely blew our minds, because we saw more than 1 million pieces, UGC pieces, that landed onto our app in a period of about 3 months while the IPL was on. And this was, again, the need for this campaign came from the fact that we aren't able to celebrate or cheer for our, superheroes on the cricket field, but we can definitely do that because we have a platform that enables users to sort of express themselves. And I think just taking up from that thought, right, we are a storytelling platform. If you look at what Trell has done today, it's really, very comfortably nestled somewhere between the long form content, which is about 20 minutes, to short form content, which is about 15 seconds, like you mentioned about TikTok. But we typically do 2 to 3 minute videos, which we feel is the right sweet spot in terms of ability to express yourself, ability to have snackable content on the platform, but at the same time, have a very, very meaningful experience while you're navigating on the platform. One of the very early signals we had was that for audiences, especially in the non-English and Hindi markets, so India is diverse, and the Indic market is where there's a lot of demand-supply gap in content. And that's where we realized that while we have almost 600 million Indians on the web today, only about 100, 150 million would be transacting, purely because most of those people who are not transacting are not able to get content in their language. And that's where we saw this opportunity to really have this product which will enable Indians or empower Indians to make meaningful lifestyle choices. And the kind of content that we do on the platform would range anywhere from fashion, beauty, recipes, men's grooming, DIY, arts and decor. So pretty much, I think a good equivalent would be like a video Pinterest is what we do, right? And I think over the lockdown timeline, as I said, we grew tremendously. I think we scaled up by 27x on the users that were coming in. But at the same time, we very consciously made sure that our DNA did not pivot from, let's say, lifestyle to entertainment. Because when the app bans happen and when the lockdown happened, all sorts of users would come on the platform. But we made sure that people who stuck around were the ones who were looking for that lifestyle content unlock. Very recently, we've also launched our commerce platform called Trell Shop. And I wanted to speak briefly about that. We have basically created a launchpad for D2C brands on our platform. And our vision is really to, to say that, hey, we've got KOLs, which we call key opinion leaders on one side. And we've got these brands, these D2C brands that are on the other side of the spectrum, and they want to sell to these users. So how can we create a sustainable ecosystem where, let's say, we are enabling millions of key opinion leaders or influencers across the country to become micro entrepreneurs and make a sustainable source of income by sharing the learnings or their experiences with the community. So today, more than 65% of our users on Trell are women, and we believe that we can provide them with greater financial inclusion and economic empowerment in the society. And so far, I think we've done a great job. We are growing 100% month on month. We've got more than 500 brands onto the platform. And it is pretty much exploding right now, the concept of shoppable videos. So I would say since the lockdown has happened, we've really innovated. Our DNA has moved from being a content first business to a content commerce business. And at the same time, the community that we build across influencers and the UGC platform that we are building, I think that is what will empower us to the next phase of growth.
Thank you for sharing that, Sahil. And I think that's one really interesting point. So you've shifted obviously from commerce to both, you've got the influencer side of the platform where you're kind of fostering that list of influencers to generate content. I think that's a really interesting piece. And so you're having to balance and manage both kind of sides of the business, right? I think a question for everyone is, we can all agree that the mobile is becoming of increasing importance in our daily lives for creating and viewing content, obviously making purchases. And are you guys noticing any trends in how your users are acquired or how this impacts your strategies? Alfonso, I'd love to hear from you.
Yeah, so basically, we are only mobile, right? So we've always been very dependent on mobile. What we've seen this year is that actually there's been a transition back to desktop in acquiring, which is pretty surprising, right? We always think that things move forward with the trends that we have, but we actually have seen a very high increase in visits from PCs and websites and the normal website, and actually a lot of people that have been accessing BNext directly, instead of going through the app store directly, they go through the website. And we believe that this is because, well, lockdown has made people to stay at home a lot more, right? Things that before you could only do from the mobile, now you need to do it from your PC, or that you can do it from your PC. And this is where technologies like what we've been using with the SMS to app that we have with Branch and everything has been working really great, right? Because before it was just a thing that was very small for us, and this year it has been growing a lot. And obviously, well, there's a lot of other trends and changes that we are seeing. I don't want to monopolize the conversation, but basically, apart from this back to PC part that we've seen, one of the things that we've also checked is that before it was, so we have a marketplace, as I said before, of financial products. Now, financial products are usually, people tend to research a lot about them, and there was a disadvantage when we were mobile only for getting these services. However, we don't know exactly what has prompted the change. Obviously, we have our own theories, but what we've seen too is that there is the index that we measure confidence in our products that we offer has been risen steadily since the lockdown started. What this means is basically that people are more eager to try new things and to actually choose a mobile platform to contract their financial services before they were doing it only on PC, right? Which is basically two different trends in two different directions, but both of them make sense when you think about the fact that people are spending more time at home, they are having more free time to research and to see new things, and at the same time they are able to use all the tools at their disposal. They don't have to be hiding behind a cupboard, right, with their phone. They can do it directly from the website if they want to research something, but at the same time they are willing to try new things with the mobile.
That's really interesting. So you're saying the increased time at home gives people more time to research, and therefore they're becoming less risk averse to try out more products that you guys are offering as, you know, as BNext as a service, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think, Varun, that ties in really nicely exactly with what you were saying earlier with the Superheroes program. A lot of people, once you build that trust and once you show them how simple it is to kind of go out there and make the shift from, you know, offline to online, the ease of the transition becomes much easier, and, you know, they become more comfortable with doing things in that way. And I'd love to hear a little bit more about you on, you know, how you're building your end-to-end customer journey and what you've seen works best to drive long-term engagement and retention.
Thanks a lot, Pooja. And I think if I can just build on what Alfonso was saying, I think it's very relevant that people are now more connected as a result of the process that we're going through. And if you look at the South Asian where we operate in India, one is access to smartphones, right? And I think there's a very large segment of our users that are moving from feature phones to smartphones. And this is the first time that they're interfacing with journeys per se, right? And I think if the way we look at customers is we have a very diverse customer base right here. So if you look at 300 million customers, you have users who have different levels of digital affinity. You have users who have different amounts of time that they can spend, right? And then also literacy level and language, because we have many languages. And I think when you design for such diverse segment of users, I think it's very to understand intent. And one of the first steps to driving long-term engagement is to truly understand the intent of the user. What is it that they want to do, and how do you help them do it as quick as possible and as easily as possible? And I think a lot of what we are doing at Airtel when it comes to transforming the online experience is really about deeply understanding our customers, their intent, the need for which they're connecting with us. And I think if you go and simplify that and capture the intent correctly, you find that trust, and they come back, trust goes up and they come back again and engage, because you're generally solving problems for them without the complexity of interfaces that people haven't seen before are interfacing. And I think one of the things that we've done at Airtel is introduce voice assistants and virtual assistants. Speak and ask for what they want. So this is something we've incubated at Airtel. It's like adding little assists to journeys. You could tap on the card and it will tell you exactly what you can do with it. And that kind of makes it simpler and easier for people to operate in an online ecosystem.
Great, thank you so much, Varun. I think we've reached end of time, but some really great key learnings that I've taken away from this, and I hope that the audience has too, is, you know, simplicity, trust, understanding the gap in the market, what your consumers want, and understanding the changing consumer behavior with, you know, with the pandemic now, has really caused a lot of growth and surge in growth in all of your apps. So I wish we had more time to discuss this, but thank you all for your time and for joining us today.
Thank you so much, Pooja. May I just say something? I've been on maybe 10 Zoom calls with you recently, Pooja, where you've had that Zoom background, and I didn't realize it was a Zoom background. So I had this moment where I was like, Hank, what, like, Sahil, like, have you guys got the same house?
I think we're in the same room. We're in the same room. Just swap around.
I should be used to this by now, but yeah, very cool. Okay, cool. Well, thank you so much. That was super, super interesting. I think like one of my favorite things to hear is like people complaining about having a problem with scaling. It's like, oh, this massive problem we've got, we can't cope with all this growth. What a horrible problem to have, right? But wonderful to hear. And the thing that stood out for me, folks, with the panel, there was so much of what you said talked about how, you know, in the past, when we thought about digital disruption and we talked about apps, that we often see them as the app is the new channel, and it's the future channel. It's taking us away from traditional channels, whether they be physical or PC, as you talked about. And actually, with this panel and the conversation with Jean at Pomelo, it actually sounds like we're not moving away at all. Actually, everything is now converging. And therefore, as you said, like understanding what the customers really want and bringing all those journeys and all those experiences together so it just feels like one, it is kind of the future. And it's great to hear you guys making so many strides ahead with that strategy. Wonderful. Thank you all so much. Okay, it's now time to get back into the awards. We're going to be charging forward into the latter half of the awards. It's with pleasure that I'd like to present our last group of award categories. The first is Best Mobile Viral Campaign. Then we've got Best COVID Adaptation, Best COVID Retention, Best Overall Growth Campaign, which is essentially the best picture of the Mobile Growth Awards. Okay. First up, the Best Mobile Viral Campaign. This recognizes one of this year's most viral mobile marketing campaigns. Let's see who the finalists are. Amidst the lockdown blues, Wink Music launched Wink Stage to allow music lovers in India to interact with their favorite singers and attend live gigs from the comfort of their homes. OneFootball, a Berlin-based football media company, seamlessly enabled their users to share the wealth of their in-app content with friends. Hinge, the dating app designed to be deleted, teamed up with Uber Eats and Chipotle for a special cuffing season menu and a chance to win dating advice from comedian Rebel Wilson. Bazi Games launched their #EndBoss campaign that introduced thousands of new players to the game and set the record as India's single biggest poker tournament. LimeRoad, India's most loved fashion platform, enabled their users to share selected product links with friends to reduce the price of products. And lastly, Stadium Goods, who launched their special The Last Dance campaign that offered a shoppable collection of every Air Jordan that was seen in the documentary. And the winner is... Congratulations to and LimeRoad. LimeRoad wanted to drive virality through social sharing with friends. As part of the campaign, users can share selected product links with friends to reduce the price of products. The value proposition is straightforward. Invite more friends to cut the price and get bigger discounts on your favorite products. Congratulations to the LimeRoad team. Still hope done. Don't know where this is going to go. Thank you. Once again, hype button. Next up, Best COVID Adaptation, showcasing a campaign which quickly adapted to the changing consumer needs during COVID. Let's see who the finalists are. Belk made a hard pivot in their roadmap, deploying a buy online, pick up in store feature in just 4 weeks to help adapt to COVID. Joanne, an American retailer of crafts and fabrics, pivoted quickly in March with free at-home mask making kits for people to create for themselves or to donate to their communities. Today, Tix inspired creatives and theatre goers with their Tomorrow Tix initiative, where users could donate Broadway tickets so frontline workers could attend a show for free after the pandemic. Sanvelo Health, who offered free premium access to their app for 5 months. Planet Fitness, who focused campaigns towards retaining as many of their 15 million members as possible. Yum Brands, who recognized the need to expand past delivery-only capabilities. Within the KFC app, they implemented a new feature, not just one, but many: online takeout, online dine-in, curbside ordering, and QR code-enabled ordering, so customers could continue to enjoy delicious chicken safely. Whew, thank God for that. And lastly, Link Music for their launch of Wink Stage to allow music lovers in India to attend live gigs from the comfort of their homes. And the winner is... Brilliant. Congratulations, Marisa Johnson and the Sanvelo team. This is a brilliant one. Within days of the World Health Organization declaring COVID-19 a global pandemic, Sanvelo leadership approved offering free premium access to the Sanvelo digital mental health care platform, providing clinically proven therapies for dealing with stress and anxiety. The team quickly rallied to remove the paywall, issue a press release, and prep the internal team with the ultimate goal of helping as many people mentally affected by the COVID crisis as possible. An amazing adaptation, which undoubtedly helped countless users. Thank you, Marisa and the Sanvelo team. Hopefully the hype button's going to play something kind and relevant for this. That's nice. I'll take that. It needs like my tooth to like, ching, is that finished? All right. Next up, best COVID retention, which is recognizing a campaign which delivered improvements in engagement and retention during COVID in 2020. Let's see who the finalists are. That's going to be a hard one. Myntra, one of India's leading fashion e-commerce companies, launched its content-led social commerce platform, Myntra Studio, to keep users engaged in the absence of physical commerce. In Mobi, for their Unilever Walls campaign that offered a special treat of ice cream with home delivery during Ramadan. Checkout 51, a cashback app, partnered with Get Upside to share personalized cashback offers to check out millions of users on gas and groceries. Quick Trip, an American chain of convenience stores, kept their customers engaged through a variety of activities such as new on-lot pickup, safe trick-or-treating alternatives for children, and a special gifting program for teachers. Rento Mojo, India's leading rental platform, launched a new checkout flow to encourage subscription, retention, and reduce churn. Shopify launched a new feature of Gift a Business, which allows anyone to purchase a pre-built Shopify store for family and friends. And the winner is... Congratulations, Achin and the Myntra Studio team. Now, during the lockdown in India, Myntra launched its content-led social commerce platform, Myntra Studio, to provide fashion inspiration and keep its audiences engaged in the absence of physical commerce. Myntra launched with a platform with over 1,000 influencers who created shoppable, inspiration-led content at scale in order to drive engagement and boost sales. Congratulations, Achin and team. What's this one going to be? I hope everyone's just doing the cha-cha at home, like that. Thank you. All right. And now the moment and the award we've truly all been waiting for. Best Overall Growth Campaign. Now, this award recognizes campaigns that created new and innovative channels or strategies to meaningfully increase mobile growth over the past year. Let's see who the finalists are. Okay, so Brainly, an education technology company based in Poland, hit #1 app in the App Store in a number of countries through their experimental growth strategies. Licious, a meat and seafood company in India, used a full funnel approach through various media channels to achieve a 3x growth over the last 6 months. Pratalipi, an Indian user-generated content storytelling platform, last year onboarded over 12 million users and retained more than 12%. Catch implemented branch journeys to convert mobile web visitors into their app, resulting in a 40% increase in app installs. BWS achieved major growth through BWS Cooler, a gamified in-app scratch and win game that allowed customers to scratch the ice away on their virtual cooler to reveal prizes and other offers. The Woolworth Group launched their Everyday Rewards app and quickly secured the #1 spot in both Google and the Apple App Stores. And lastly, Trell observed phenomenal growth and has become the go-to platform in India for the discovery of meaningful lifestyle content. This is the big one. And the winner is congratulations, John Ostrowski and the Brainly team. Now, after several surveys across markets, Brainly noticed a lack of awareness from users regarding the app and the exclusive features it offered. By continuously collaborating with Branch and by being bold in executing a well-planned experimentation roadmap, they were able to hit top overall app in India, Indonesia, and Brazil. Top overall, literally top. Amazing. The web to app campaign series solved for brand awareness and increased retention of users who are experiencing non-optimal mobile web experience, who can now benefit from a unique value proposition exclusive to the app. Huge congratulations to John and the Brainly team. This is the last of the hype button. Here we go. Thank you, Hype Button. Thank you. It's been a pleasure using you, Hype Button. I wonder if the company that makes the app that I've been using uses a legacy MMP solution, such as the one that does that thing where they break Apple's terms and conditions to track uninstalls, because they're going to be finding out about a pretty quick uninstall in a minute. Okay. So that was such a great list of winners with over 300 nominations from top-notch mobile brands from around the world. It was a difficult task to select each winner, but with the help of our fabulous judges, we were able to recognize those who truly stood out amongst their peers. And now I'd like to invite 2 of our award winners to the stage to share some insights and learnings from their winning campaigns. Please join me in welcoming John Ostrowski, Conversion Manager at Brainly, winner of the Best Overall Growth Campaign. And by the way, we all know John as Positive John. I don't want to give any spoilers, but let's just see if you folks watching along can guess why he's known as Positive John. And John is joined by Akin Setia, Vice President of Marketing at Myntra, who is the winner of Best COVID Retention Campaign. And the session will be moderated by Ankit Saxena, Director of Success and Service Operations at Branch. Welcome to the stage, everyone.
All right. Thank you, Andy. I love your hype button. I think that's going to see some growth.
You can have it. You can have it. I'll send you an SMS. Text me the app type thing if they have it.
Oh yes, yes. I would love that. Well, congratulations to all the winners, and thanks John and Achint for joining us today. John, Positive, John. I'm going to start with you. Firstly, huge congratulations to you and the entire team at Brainly. I'm personally a huge fan. Top of the App Store in all the regions. How are you feeling about this win? John, we can't hear you, I think. Are you on mute?
You guys listen to me now?
Yes.
There we go. Guys, what a way to start Friday. This is incredible. Feeling extremely positive. I think positive is the right keyword here. But before, I must start this with a clear disclaimer, acknowledging that none of this would be possible without the incredible experience and willingness to make it happen from our engagement team at Brainly. So before I share more details, let me just share the rock stars, the real rock stars behind this prize. Starting with Mateus, AKA Kit, our 12 years veteran director of product, who kicked off the project and approached the web to app journey as an engagement challenge for us to solve inside Brainly. Anna Vrubel and Matti Zimowski, our front-end magicians, who helped figure out all the technical details, such as deep link and on-page meta tags, all the intricate logic that we have while maintaining production stability between Branch and Google Optimize. Magda Faszczewska and Maciek, aka Neuer, the guardians of the user experience that proactively validated design solutions with user tests before getting into production every single time. So my honest appreciation, guys. Thank you.
Let's hear it for the entire team and Brainly, guys. Awesome. Positive, John. PJ, I'll start with PJ and we'll continue with PJ. Why don't you share some details, about the campaign? What
Absolutely.
was it that you did and what
Absolutely.
was the results it drove for you?
Yeah, now that all the kudos were given, let's share some of the details of the process. Let's start with Brainly mission. So Brainly's here to inspire students to share and explore knowledge in a collaborative community, all right? Our management truly believes that our app is the perfect medium to unlock and empower this access to knowledge. Study help at your fingertips. That's basically the idea. So in 2020, our web to app project became more relevant inside the company and got more traction. Our first challenge was, of course, to create those manufactured triggers towards the app and optimize that based on what users value inside our app. We then started basically developing a backlog of tactics and placements, which is a pretty common practice for any of our experimentation programs. But the critical moment that really got us to this prize today was a simple question during a prioritization session. Something along the lines, how can we generate a benchmark of maximum amount of installs we're able to generate from the web so we understand if this is a viable strategy pursuing it or if we should pivot? That was the critical moment. From a technical standpoint here, we needed a relevant MDE or minimum detectable effect. So basically we grouped a set of very bold tactics and ran them all at once for two important markets. We learned two important things out of that. One, the app wasn't expecting the amount of traffic we would generate. And two, we instrumented everything to a level of detail aided by Branch technology that we knew which particular placement was contributing the most to our installs bottom line. Okay, we then removed all those tactics, iterated on them for a better user experience, tested them individually to validate the initial findings, and rolled them out in all markets. Once we rolled out, that's where we saw this exponential growth, the snowball effect. That's a good summary of the success growth story that we got.
That's awesome, and you stay with us, John. I want to bring in Achint, the VP at Myntra. Achint, so glad to see Myntra win. This is such an inspirational story. How are you feeling about this win?
Feeling very, very good. Thank you so much, first of all, for recognizing us. And congratulations to everybody, who made it to the final, and everybody who put in the effort, because I think award is just one of the things. It is the hard work of the teams, which is the true winner. And, just like John did, there are a lot of people on Myntra who made this happen, from our content teams led by Pragya, Mohit, Shivani, Sharon, to our product and tech teams who have been very, very solid in terms of being able to deliver a product like this in such a short period of time. The moment we hit COVID, I think we wanted to do something. This was something on the charter for this year, but we accelerated it significantly and were able to launch this, right in the first end of the first month of the lockdown. So kudos to them, kudos to our engineering teams, kudos to our testing teams, our QA teams, and kudos to a lot of other people who have supported us. And I would like to call, our agency partners, our influencers. We got some 800 to 1,000 influencers over a period of time, and they all worked, out of their homes and tried to make all this content for us, on very short notice, buying stuff from Myntra so that they can showcase Myntra products, and then, building that experience for our users. So thank you, everyone. It's an award for all of us, first of all. It's a start, Ankit, I would say it's a long way to go. I think social commerce is such a big mine, as we have seen in some of the markets. And I think India is getting ready for that, I would say. And we have just made our initial entry into this. So a lot of things to do for us so far.
Absolutely. Again, let's hear it for the entire team at Myntra. And I think, Achint, as you're saying, it's a prime example that it takes a village to come up with such kind of innovation. So, Achint, I'll stick with you. So, e-commerce user retention during the lockdown, that must have been a big challenge. How did the idea of Myntra Studio come about? Like, what were what led to the genesis of this?
Yeah, so I think it started from the customer. The Indian fashion customer, like a lot of customers globally, they are seeking the need to build fashion proficiency, right? And India is still a market which is relatively nascent in people's understanding of exploring fashion and how to experiment with fashion. And they are seeking advice. And when you look at channels like YouTube and Instagram, one of the most popular keywords when it comes to fashion there is how to. Right? Which is people are looking to do something, find a hack, do it yourself. So given that we had such a big engaged community of fashion forward customers, we thought it's only natural for us to sort of bring that experience on the Myntra platform rather than them going and searching on social networks, only look for something on fashion. And we can curate it much better. We can also make sure that the inspiration to shopping journey can be smoothly given to the customer there and then. So that was the genesis of Myntra Studio. And I think it's been almost 8 months now. What we have seen is people who spend time on Myntra Studio have started to show good signs of becoming better customers. The amount of time they're spending is reasonably significant in terms of the overall context of the time they spend with us on Myntra in general. And the other thing is, it gives us an opportunity to talk to a lot of customers who today either don't know what they want to buy when it comes to fashion, or they have a lot of questions on their minds, which even if we don't make them buy right now, we can engage with them. And I think the engagement piece is what we really worked on specifically when it comes to the COVID retention period, because a lot of our customers were not willing to buy, but willing to learn more, right? And I think most of the apps move towards supporting and helping people and learn. This was our way to engage our customers on that front.
I think story, right? Like when you have some sort of limitations, you at users in what they wanted to do. I'm going to pick one keyword from that, Achint, and I think that's something that experiment is something that we heard from John as well, PJ, and experiment-led growth. Like, give us some of the principles of that. Like, how did you guys implement it, and why was that important? In the success that you saw.
Sure.
Can I take on this?
Yeah, John, go ahead, please.
Awesome. I like this question.
Yes,
I remember mentioning the experiment-led growth as an important principle. So again, I like the question because it allows me also to advocate a bit about growth experiments, which for me is applying the scientific method towards business KPIs, as simple as it gets. And it's one of the areas I've been specializing over the years. But let me give another angle to this. I'm basically coming from a growth agency environment where experiments were something particular to CRO or conversion rate optimization. With more experience in the industry, larger network, and especially after going through a Reforge specializations, I see that no matter the growth challenge a team is trying to solve for, be acquisition, retention, monetization, the principle of understanding the problem, calling it by the right name, identifying the metric to move, coming up with hypotheses of why this problem exists in the first place, and testing them in a very methodical way is applied to any of these areas. So this is exactly how we work at Brainly. It's why we talk data very often. The reason why Claude Hopkins, I like bringing this quote, instead of arguing opinions, we let the court of last resort, our users, to decide what's best using controlled experiments. That's my take on experiment-led growth.
Awesome, John. Achin, would you like to add something, from the product perspective or things that you did for this from Myntra Studio?
Yeah, for us, it has been a lot of experiments. In fact, that is the journey of any nascent product, as it develops. So, we went in with a lot of assumptions, I would say, on what people would like, both in terms of the kind of content they would like to watch, as well as how often we should refresh that content, what are the categories, basis their shopping behaviors that they should want. And we have learned a lot in that process, I think, and the product has also evolved significantly, from where we started. So just a few experiments, right? Very simple things, for example, on how we should show the Shop Now button, on an image. And just a few visual changes and experiments can significantly increase the uptake rate on commerce, right? As an example. The other example is, having features like gamification while they are watching content can, again, make a big spike on the engagement rates on the platform. By improving, a percentage point on the amount of, or the number of posts that people see, there is a significant uptake that you can see on the overall time spent by users, right? So now it will differ for every platform depending on the customer and the context of the behavior of the platform. But for us, I think we have learned these very, very nuanced things only by learning, because none of this would have been very obvious to us as we started.
Yep. I think constant curiosity, about your customer is probably the key. Achin, one question for you, right? Like, so this initiative started out of a necessity. We were in the lockdown. Now things are hopefully, we are going up north. Things are opening up. They will be better. What difference has this project, made to your company, right? In the overall strategy that Myntra had?
Yeah, see, Myntra's overall objective is to become a lifestyle destination for the customer. And this plays a very critical role, the entire journey of improving the customer experience by offering them variety of ways to engage with fashion. And one of the key ways is inspiration, learning, and just in pure play engagement, right? So inspiration, learning, and engagement is something that Myntra Studio is aimed to do. While we have the best of selections, the best of brands, but how do we make sure our customers are becoming better fashionistas, if I may put it like that, while they are making their purchases on Myntra, is the overall objective. Now, in that process, I think the way we look at the business metrics is how is it helping us improve the overall time spent? How is it helping us improve the customer retention, the customer stickiness to the platform? Those are the areas where it has started to show positive impact.
Awesome. PJ, now let's say somebody wants to win this award next year, the best overall growth. What suggestions or ideas or advice you would have for the people out here?
Yeah, I'll take a very customer-centric direction on this answer. Let me add two takeaways. So first, make sure the team working to get this award take home next year understand three things. One, from the main use case, so what problem are you solving and for whom? On top of that, what level of motivation the main persona has to finish that job, all right, that you're solving for. 2, why does your app offer them a better overall experience for dealing with that problem? And another way that I like to think about this is that if they wouldn't use your app, what would they use instead? What are the alternatives? And note that it's not only about what are the competitors, but what are the alternatives? Those are different things. And 3, what's the perceived value from the app from your user's perspective? So talking to customers here are critical. And yes, I'm taking a very jobs to be done approach to this answer. Last but not least, I would say, don't be afraid of being bold with tactics. Again, if you have a strong hypothesis based on good evidence behind your test, I like to say go Nike style and just do it, you know? Big changes tend to lead to big MDEs, which allows you to collect faster signals, go back to the drawing board with a lot more learnings under your belt, and save time for you and your team. So those are the 2 scopes that I would suggest for someone winning this award next year.
Awesome. Thanks, PJ. Achint, let me just rephrase that question a little bit. With respect to if someone were to win a retention award and hopefully not a COVID retention award next year, what would your advice be?
Okay. No, I think first of all, John really summarized it well. I don't have more tactical things to say on top of what he said. I would only say a couple of things. One is don't work towards winning awards to start with. And start with thinking about what is the long-term vision that you're solving for, and go in with a mindset of learning and improving, right? And that's the only way growth happens, because a lot of what we will uncover, what people will uncover who will win these awards or will do well in general, will define things which have not been done in the past, right? And that is the most important thing, to play in the ambiguous world with enough and more confidence, but equal excitement, and just try and experiment and learn and, improvise as you grow forward. Growth is the only constant, I would say, for apps in today's world.
Awesome. Great. Thank you so much, Achint and John, for sharing your wisdom with us. That's really helpful. And congratulations again, to you and your entire team at Myntra and Brainly. I'll hand it back to Andy.
Thank you so much, Ankit. Thank you, PJ, Positive John. I think people can see why you've got the nickname. Anchit, thank you as well. Anchit, would I be right in thinking that you already got one hand on an award for next year by telling people to not focus on winning awards? Was that? Are you just trying to make clear the path so that you have like an easier run for next year?
Yeah, it all depends on on how you set it up, Andy, next year. I leave it to you.
Thank you so much, guys. That was awesome. It was like, as I'm listening, I'm thinking, what are the key points that I'm taking away from this? And the last question was just beautiful, brilliant question, Ankit, to summarize it. And I could not do a better job than you guys did there. So thank you so much. It's no wonder why Brainly won, best overall growth campaign, and Myntra won best COVID retention. You can see why. So that was pretty fun, wasn't it? Right? I feel like I've learned a ton. I feel like I want to just like finish this and run and share all of these great ideas, strategies, insights with other branch customers. But all that is left to do now are the thank yous, and there are many thank yous. I want to, of course, start by thanking our wonderful judges who put so much time and enthusiasm and expertise into picking our wonderful winners. Of course, I want to thank the nominees. There was over 300 of you for delivering such inspirational work in 2020. I want to thank our panelists, Achint, Positive John, Jean, Varun, Sahil, and Alfonso. Not forgetting our hosts, Pooja, Govin, and Ankit. And I want to thank our wonderful branch marketing team. This is not in the script, particularly Brittany, Jessica, Priyanka, Fina, Amanda, Mada, Bauer, the whole team. They've done so much great work to put this event together and make it the wonderful success I think it has been. And last but not least, I want to thank you, because without you, dear mobile growth community, we would not have been able to have this celebration today. So thank you. thank you. And we hope to see you at the next Mobile Growth event and at the awards celebration, hopefully in person in 2020. So stay safe, stay brave, and stay bold. See ya. Bye-bye.